The record reflect we are back in session. Parties and counsel are present. Our jurors are present. Our witness is present. I understand Mr. McGee was not feeling well this afternoon, and Mr. Marine, you indicated you felt you were able to take over the rest of the examination of Mr. Beasley. Is that right?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, you ready to proceed?
Yes.
Okay.
Mr. Beasley, I was an observer listening as the earlier questioning went on. And just to clarify and just make it as simple and uncomplicated as possible, is what you were giving an opinion about are these stains on the table that we're looking at are wood furniture finishing type stains?
Yes, that's what I believe.
Okay. Now, if I understood correctly, the stains that you're talking about are stains that are done through this process and are underneath some type of polyurethane type coat. Is that correct?
Yes.
And that was the purpose of showing it in the glare photo. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Now, stains that are on the surface and not underneath a polyurethane coat, would those stains have a certain characteristic to it that we don't see in this table?
Objection, Mike's foundation.
Overruled. You can answer if he has an opinion.
Well, they would have the characteristics of being able to be felt, so they would have texture to them on the surface, and if they're under the surface, they would not have to be able to be felt because they'd have a top coat on top of them. So that would be something different.
So if, let's say, for example, an experienced homicide detective was sitting at the table with his homicide team, would that explain why none of them felt anything? That these stains are actually underneath the polyurethane coat?
Objection calls for speculation. This states Detective Patel's testimony.
Objection sustains speculation conclusion.
If those stains are surface stains of any kind, of any type of liquid that dried, you would be able to feel it with the human touch, correct?
Most likely, yes.
Okay. And was there some evidence that you reviewed which would, where you would have an opinion that these were not those type of surface stains?
The evidence was, again, the fact I did not see the red, brown colored stains in the reflection through the glare. The white stains were visible, but the red stains were not within the glare in the photographs.
Did any report that you reviewed from San Diego, whether it was from a criminalist, an investigation tech, or a homicide detective, that indicated any of these stains on the table were surface stains that could be felt?
No, they didn't refer to the stains at all. They did not observe the stains.
There was some discussion about these stains being more concentrated in one area as opposed to another area of the table. Do you recall that line of questioning?
Yes.
I think the term used was it was unique to that area or something to that effect.
Correct. I believe the stains that were referred to as being lighter or skeletonized.
And if I understood your testimony correct, the way, at least based on the article that you were referring to, the way the spatter is done with wood furniture finishing, if it's done by hand, that in and of itself makes the stain pattern random. Is that correct?
Objection assumes facts not evidence. And it's
Overruled. You can answer.
Yes, the article detailed that there was two basic ways that wood stain can be
Objection,
finished.
hearsay under Sanchez.
No, sustained this phrase. You can, based on your research, you can state your own personal opinion, but you can't just reiterate what the article says.
Okay.
So based on your review of that article and your own experiments, do you have an opinion as to how that randomness occurs?
my opinion is the randomness is similar to any spatter pattern where it's unpredictable how the stains are going to be making contact with, in this case, a table. So it's in spattering liquid, whether it's used with a paintbrush spattering something, or force applied, or an equipment that's referred to as a, that involves air pressure. The pattern is random that results. So it's not uniform, and that's what I did see on the table, a random pattern.
Thank you, nothing further.
Any recourse?
Just a couple questions. You indicated that you were retained by the prosecution last year
Yes,
on a cold case.
correct,
It was a case you actually worked when you were with the sheriff's department.
correct,
Okay. So you retired and they brought you back and they paid your witness fees.
correct. I gave them a discount on my normal witness fees
Okay.
as per an agreement when I left the crime lab. That I would give the DA a discount.
So a DA gets a case, it's a cold case, because you worked on it prior to your retirement, so you were subpoenaed as a witness to come in, and there was an agreement regarding your witness fees because you're retired.
Correct.
Okay. You were asking questions about, well, I asked you if anybody told you that our theory was they were all murdered in the house, and you said you didn't remember if somebody told you. Do you recall that?
Yes.
Mr. McGee asked you, did I tell you, and you said no. You didn't tell me. Can you explain that?
Can you rephrase that?
Sure. Mr. McGee asked you, did I tell you what the people's theory was? And you said no. Can you explain that?
Yes, I asked another attorney, Jacob, I'm not sure his last name,
Okay.
if the prosecution was sticking with or going with a theory that the victims were killed inside their home. And as I recall, he told me that it looks that way, but they're not being definitive on that.
Okay.
And that was kind of early on in the trial.
Okay. One of my last questions was regarding your experience in the sheriff's department of no body homicide investigation. Did those investigations result in an arrest and prosecution?
Objection relevant.
Oh, you can answer if you knows.
I don't know for sure. The case that came to my mind was a victim that was missing from his home up in the high desert, I believe Victorville. A few days later, they found his body in the aqueduct. I think I may have gone to court on that. I'm not 100% sure. So we processed the scene with no body, but there was lots of blood spatter up on the wall and blood in his bed. So even though there was no body, there was evidence that a body had been there, and that the body was definitely injured, if not
Okay.
killed.
But at court, they found a body.
Yes.
Okay. Have you done a case where you had to go to court and they hadn't found the body yet?
Objection relevant.
Sustained.
You discussed a little bit about cleaning of the house. Ultimately, well, let me ask you this. Are you familiar with the wind patterns in Temecula and how much dust enters a house in Temecula in the period of 14 days?
Objection relevant.
Overall, you can answer if you know. Perhaps in the public.
Fallbrook, Temecula, that area.
I don't have an opinion or knowledge specifically about the wind in Fallbrook.
Okay, so you don't know how dusty a house can get, how quickly a dusty house
Objection
can get.
assumes facts not in evidence.
Sustained.
Do you know how dusty a house can get?
Objection, he's already asked this witness.
Sustained.
You're testifying about cleaning, and you said that there was still some dirt, right? That you saw?
In the family room?
Yeah, yes.
Yes,
You don't know when that got there.
correct.
Okay. So it could have got there sometime between February 4th and February 19th,
Correct.
anytime in that period,
Correct.
including, anytime during that period it could have got dirty. Just leave it at that.
Correct.
Yes, okay. And you don't know if because you haven't actually examined the table, no one has, if you could actually feel those stains or those reddish marks on the table, right? In other words, if there's actually tactile, you can feel it.
Correct, I do not know.
Thank you, nothing further.
Anything else?
The case that counsel asked you about regarding being retained by the district attorney's office on a cold case, you recall that? And what was the purpose of, well, what was the opinion that you rendered in that regarding what subject?
Objection, relevance beyond the scope.
Overruled.
I testified as an expert regarding my opinion of blood spatter and actually impact and expirated stains or coughed out blood that was inside the trunk of a victim's vehicle that had been dumped up in the Lido Creek area. So it was a blood stain pattern analyst testimony.
And did you do a similar demonstration for the jury in that case for the district attorney's office as you've done here?
Objection asked and answered.
Sustained. Cumulative.
In reviewing San Diego's reports and their homicide division reports, when they did their search on February 19th, 2010, did you see anywhere in those reports that any homicide detective or any personnel indicated that there was a cleanup of a crime scene?
No.
Nothing further.
Anything else?
No, Your Honor.
Any objection to Mr. Beasley being excused?
Subject to recall, please.
I assume they know where to find you if we need you again.
They do.
All right, thank you for your attendance, and you are excused subject to recall. And I understand we're not going to be ready to proceed with the next witness until tomorrow.
Your Honor, I have a suggestion.
Sure.
Although the meat and potatoes is Mr. McGee, and I will be prepared to go forward with that part of it tomorrow. But today, if the court would like, we could go through the just the basic part. So regardless, tomorrow we can jump in right in with meat and
It's
potatoes.
up to you, whichever
Okay.
way. You want to start, go ahead and start it today?
Sure.
Okay, that's fine. You can call your next witness.
We would call Greg Stutchman.
Make sure you don't take any of our exhibits while
He might be a little scared, Your Honor, because he sees me questioning him, but.
I'm going to testify, I need to get my equipment, my files. Okay. Where's your equipment? In the luggage there.
We're just gonna go through the introductory stuff.
Okay.
Nancy's gonna do all that. Okay.
Do you solemnly state the evidence you'll give this matter is the whole truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you.
State your full name, spell it for the record.
My name is Greg, G-R-E-G-G, Stutchman, S-T-U-T-C-H-M-A.
Okay, you may proceed.
Thank you. Mr. Stutchman, what is your occupation?
I'm the Chief Forensic Analyst and owner of Stutchman Forensic Lab in Napa, California.
And what does your company specialize in?
In the analysis and enhancement clarification of recorded evidence, audio and video, and image photographic evidence.
And what training and experience do you have in that field?
Some of it includes the New York Institute of Forensic Audio, which is a university accredited training center in actually now it's in New Jersey. They have 30 to 50-hour classes set twice yearly, and I've been to many of those. Also, the Digital Summit International, which was a forensic training in media forensic for both law enforcement and the private sector. It was in conjunction with the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department. Also, the National Center for Media Forensic in Denver, Colorado, which is part of the University of Colorado, Denver. Adobe Systems, Resolution Video, which is a dedicated forensic video training company. They do seminars and workshops all over the country. Salient Sciences, which is a video forensic engineering company. Motion
Yes. It appears he's reading from something.
My excerpt from my CV.
Overruled.
Nikon Camera Forensic Division, a company called Forensic Imaging, another company that's forensic photography and imaging analysis called Alexander Jason Incorporated. Atlanta Legal Photography.
What was that? I'm sorry.
Atlanta Legal Photography. The American Society for Photogrammetry. The National Association of Photoshop Professionals. The Evidence Photographers International Council School of Evidence Photography. Cognitech Incorporated. The California Association of Licensed Investigators. The National Association of Broadcasters. American Board of Recorded Evidence, and the Pacific Union College Digital Media Center.
How many years have you been in this line of work?
Well, I've been in the criminal justice system for about 46, 47 years as a police officer, a licensed investigator since 1992 when I started the lab doing forensics.
And you were a police captain at one time?
I was at Pacific Union College, which is a four-year liberal arts school in Angwin, California.
Okay. And when did you begin Stutchman Forensic Laboratory?
I began it in 1992, originally as part of my investigation agency, because of the need. And because of that need, I phased out the investigation side and put my resources into audio and video technology and specialized training. I've been running that full-time for all that time since 1992.
What about education?
I attended 3 years of college. I got my community college teaching credential in criminal justice vocation from the University of California at Berkeley.
And have you qualified as an expert in this field?
I have just probably under 270 times nationwide and in Canada.
And is that both state and federal courts, or?
Yes, it is.
How about in California?
Oh, extensively in California.
Are you a member of any professional organizations?
I am. I'm a member of the American Board of Recorded Evidence, the Evidence Photographers International Council, the Audio Engineering Society International, the National Association of Photoshop Professionals, which is now called KLB1.
I'm sorry, what is it called?
KLB1, and the American Society for Photogrammetry, as well as the California Association of Licensed Investigators.
What does photogrammetry mean?
Photogrammetry is the process of obtaining measurements from photos, or in many, many cases it's still images derived from videos.
Okay. And have you prepared any papers or other educational material in this field?
I believe, yes, I have. I have lectured, I think, 31 times and prepared seven papers.
Is it all related to forensic work?
Yes.
Okay. And actually, that's probably as far as I can go, Your Honor, today, and we'll be ready to start in it tomorrow.
Okay, so I guess we'll go ahead and take our evening recess a little bit early today. We'll resume at 9:30 tomorrow morning. Keep in mind the admonitions previously given to you, not to form or express any opinions about the case, not to discuss the case, And again, that means not discuss anything about the case, any of the attorneys, parties, witnesses, exhibits, and we'll see everyone at 9:30 tomorrow morning. And I'll say we'll meet you back tomorrow morning as well.